this very interesting and challenging lecture. I'm sure that there are some questions on astronaut programs and questions on Skolkovo tech. Please, who have the question? So I will start with you. Если можно, микрофончик какой-то.
Вот, ну я громко.
Акустика хорошая.
Окей, прекрасно. I am head of Solar and Planetary Department of Stanford Astronomical Institute. And Skolkovo expert to spaceflight. My question is, what is communication or relationship between planetary resources incorporation, private field, and NASA? Thank you.
I have to say that there's really very little private interest, commercial interest in planetary resources that I'm aware of. There is, of course, at NASA, at JPL, at Goddard Space Flight Center, and so forth, scientific interest and development interest funded by the government. But there has been, up until this time, as far as I know, not much commercial interest in planetary resources. So I actually have several laws of human spaceflight, that I teach my students. And one law, the first law, is that it's much easier to make money in space by moving photons than molecules. That is to say, the commercial exploitation of space with imaging, with sensing, with optics, with communication connections, is where you put the commercial infrastructure in once, and you have recurring use by moving photons, basically, is a far easier way than by moving mass. So I think that the primary barrier is actually the cost of launch and cost of recovery. That you would have to have something extremely valuable in space in order to be able to bring it back and have any positive commercial value. So not much development, I think. And the barrier is launch cost.
Yes, please.
We agree with the Roscosmos Central Research Institute Machine Building, located in the city of Crawley, Moscow region. Our questions are the following. Is the ISS in demand among scientific community of the United States? And the next one is, when, in your opinion, the ISS program will be actually finished?
So do you want the official answer or the real answer? The official answer. The official answer is the ISS has enormous scientific value, and that the current plan is to extend the ISS at least until 2020, at which time there'll be some further decisions. So let me take the second one first. I think the most rational strategy for the ISS was proposed by, I believe, the head of ESA, who said that about every 3 years, we the partners in the ISS, should evaluate the ISS and its effectiveness and its cost and make a decision whether to extend it for another 3 years or not. The issue of what to do with the ISS, the physical thing, when we don't want it anymore, is actually a very complex question, as you know. I mean, there is no rocket engine large enough to produce the delta V, actually the impulse, necessary to deorbit the ISS in one piece. And so we would have to somehow disassemble it. It's like running a nuclear reactor. It's actually easier to keep running than it is to take it apart for a variety of reasons. So I think that when people start considering the value and the cost of continuing to operate the ISS versus the cost of stopping to operate the ISS, which will be billions of dollars to stop running the ISS, then it will tend to prolong the life considerably. Now, let me tell you the real answer. The real answer is, I believe that what will probably end the life of the ISS is a mechanical failure. I think that something which is large enough so that it cannot be repaired will fail. The bearings on the solar panels, the solar batteries, the control moment gyros, and that will then that will cause people, that type of failure will cause people to say, maybe it's time to start thinking about the end of the ISS. Because we don't, without the shuttle, and until another large booster is built, have the capability to bring up a large piece. Even Proton. Well, Proton would be the best we have. Now, as to the scientific capability, I was also on the presidential commission of President Clinton in 1993. One of the outcomes of which was to recommend the combination of the space station programs of the US and the Russian Federation, which of course happened. And at that time, we calculated the expense of filling up all of the racks